Centuria Chapter 6, y'all already know what time it is. Before we dive right in, I do want to ask y'all a question as I usually do before these videos starts, and that is, what is an ongoing anime or manga that you feel deserves more attention? Super simple question today, so let me know your thoughts and ideas down in the comments, and let's read Centuria. This chapter opens to a flashback of a younger Joseph and his father as the latter teaches him how to hunt properly. And if you don't remember who those guys are, I don't blame you because names are kind of common in this. You kind of forget them pretty easily. Joseph is Julian's employer who brought him on for work within the village. If you'll remember, Julian was chopping down trees with this guy, and he had a wife who was taking care of her kid and Diana as well. And Joseph's father was the senile archer who has those random moments of lock-in, which I said in the last video I thought was absolutely hilarious, and I made the comparison to Gran Torino from My Hero Academia. And if you'll also recall from the last chapter, if you haven't read the last chapter or watched my video on it, I highly recommend going back and doing that because catching up on this series now is absolutely paramount. It's getting really, really good, and I'm trying to get caught up as soon as I possibly can for you guys just so we can enjoy this peak together. But if you'll recall from the last chapter, Joseph's father told the search party that they need not worry about Joseph's disappearance into the forest or about him being alive, because he had trained Joseph as a hunter from when he was just a boy. And now we see that here in this flashback. The opening tagline reads, "Passed down from father to son, the wisdom of coexistence with the forest lives on." And we see in this flashback a deer emerging from its place in the bushes out into broad daylight. And Joseph's father makes a series of hand signals, landing on this one where he lifts his thumb up. And he says, "When I make this here hand signal, it means I'm going to move in and distract the beast. Hunters often use this to signal each other around. Make sure you don't forget it." And Joseph replies, "Got it." And as the sun begins to set over a vibrant forest, we see that Joseph and his father have successfully slain the deer, having carved out its side. And Joseph wipes his brow, saying, "Man, I wonder if I'll ever grow into a master hunter like you someday, Pops." His father pauses his work, looking up at Joseph and saying, "You don't gotta be a master huntsman. What matters most is that you return home to your family in one piece, and that you don't let the forest swallow you up. It's every hunter's wish to die out in these woods, but it brings hardship for their family left behind. I've witnessed many of my friends' deaths within these here woods. I don't want to lose you too." And Joseph remarks kind of snarkily, "Same goes for you, Pops. Don't leave me here behind." And his father laughs. "Cheeky fella." Now back in the present day, Joseph's father and Engval are in the forest, and they continue to descend deeper into the darkening brush. And Joseph's father examines the plants smeared with Joseph's blood from where the beast had dragged him away, and he says, "There's not a lot of blood, but it's still bad news. It's like he's been dragged all the way to this thing's den." Engval asks, "What kind of beast could have possibly done this?" And Joseph's father replies, "I couldn't tell you. I ain't never seen footprints like these before. Better to proceed through these woods with caution." And Joseph's father nimbly hops over a fallen tree, blocking the duo's path, while Engval climbs over it roughly in her suit of armor. "The forest distorts your sense of space and time. Pay close attention to your path and the sun's position at all times," Joseph's father instructs, and Engval thinks to herself, "He may be old, but he weaves through the forest like it's nothing." And then they reach this swampy area, trees reflecting alongside themselves in the murky waters. Joseph's father explains, "Them swamps are bottomless. Stay close behind me and don't fall in no matter what." But before they can make their move, a bear emerges from the bushes in front of them, growling and rising up threateningly. "A bear?" cries Engval. "Don't move," Joseph's father instructs, arming himself with his bow and pulling the arrow back. And he warns the bear verbally, a vein popping out of his head. "Back off. I ain't have the time to deal with you today." The bear reluctantly turns and leaves, growling as it does so. And I like the detail and the idea that Joseph's father is so skilled and so used to the forest that even the creatures recognize him as a threat and are wary of him as they cross paths. It speaks to his skill as a hunter and dedication as a father to bring his son Joseph back. And despite all that, we don't even know this guy's name. So, Kuramori-san, if you're watching this, please name Joseph's father. He's a hero. He absolutely deserves it. "That was a close one. I forgot to bring the bell that keeps them damn bears away." Engval just kind of stares at him, dumbfounded and confused. The man responds, "Hey, settle your nerves, all right? My mind may be muddled, but I never miss my shot." It's giving Hawkeye vibes here, I can't lie. But Engval asks to herself, are we gonna be okay? Now, beyond the trees in the distance, there is nothing but pure blackness as far as the eye can see. And Joseph's father says, I'm not familiar with the area beyond this point. I don't recognize the beast's scent. It's not a bear or a boar, I'm sure of that. Engval notes silently, no sunlight or wind reaches here. The further we go in, the more alien it becomes. The air is stagnant. Engval and Joseph's father arrive in the heart of the forest, where a lone, massive hollow tree, complete with the grotesque hanging bodies of all of these fallen hunters around here, all over its branches, vines spewing out of the bottom in all directions across the hill it's on, and a weakened, trapped Joseph. You can kind of see him off to the side right here. He's caught between one of those vines near the entrance of the tree. These corpses are disfigured, rotten, and decayed, with chunks missing from their bodies. Both Engval and Joseph's father are visibly taken aback and disturbed by this twist of events. What in the world? Joseph's father remarks. Shit! Engval exclaims. Joseph's father spots Joseph, running to him with Engval following closely behind. Don't come closer! It's a trap! Joseph cries out, trying to warn them, but to no avail. Because emerging out of this hollow tree is this eldritch horror of a monstrosity demon creature right here. And as you can see, it's some sort of chimera with many disfigured heads of what seem to be wolves, at least a dozen unnatural looking arms, and more hanged corpses from their underbelly. And this beast of darkness roars into monologue sinisterly, each of its heads speaking in a demonic hive mind fashion. And I made the comparison with the Leviathan to Melzargard from One Punch Man before, but if there's a single creature in this entire manga that reminds me of Melzargard the most, it's definitely this thing right here. It's a chimera-like beast with multiple faces, this malicious intent. How do you not get Melzargard vibes from this? But anyway, this beast says, you fell right into our trap, but we don't need you. You're not the blessed child of the sea, obviously referring to Julian. We thought he would come. What a shame. We only need one bait. We'll kill the rest of you. Now, Engval is absolutely losing her mind after seeing this thing. She can't believe her eyes right now. There's disbelief and uncertainty in her voice when she speaks. What the hell is this thing? Is this a nightmare? Am I conscious right now? Joseph's father pales, a rare sight for the usually composed huntsman, as Joseph cries out, Pops! Behind him. And the father looks up, recognizing the outfits on some of the hanged bodies on the demonic beast's underbelly. Those clothes, I've seen them before. They were garbs my friends wore long ago. Joseph, Dad, and Ruth. The beast holds them up for a cruel display as it monologues. What's this? These were friends of yours. Well, don't you like what we've done with them? It's our little hobby. Humans are so easily frightened. They're so quick to cry out and scream for help that won't ever come. I love listening to these cries before bed. I relish their screams. It's a beautiful lullaby to me. Joseph's father absorbs the evil beast's word as he recalls days when he was younger, days when his fellow hunters were still alive and seated at the table with him, chatting animatedly and laughing like proper friends should. And the chimera beast continues, Oh yeah, I just remembered something from when I hung them up. It was absolutely hilarious. And it quotes the last words of his deceased comrades in a cruel display, saying, I want to go back home. I don't want to die. I have to see my daughter. They all sobbed and whined like fools before they died. This beast cackles maniacally. I just can't get enough of it. This panel says it all. Joseph's father looks like he is absolutely snapped at this point, his expression darkening with rage. The creature mocks them. Why the long faces? We're benevolent, after all. We'll hang you up high with your friends so you can all be together. Besides, there's nothing to fear when you're all reunited. Isn't that right? The creature laughs, and Joseph's father's fist clenches at his side as violent anger and hurt boil within his system. I never thought I could harbor this much hatred at this old age. Joseph observes him from behind. Pops, his father continues, eat or be eaten. The relationship between hunter and beast follows that natural order of life. This is something I accepted as a hunter, something I'm well prepared for. But you, there's not a damn natural bone in your distorted body, you fucking monster! You're a psychotic, cold-blooded murderer! Now, this eldritch creature launches itself at Joseph's father, agreeing with his assessment and saying, "Indeed, we are. This thing is absolutely pure evil. Whatever the fuck it is, whatever it's supposed to be, whatever bizarre chimera creature crawled out of this tree, it is absolutely diabolical, the same way that the Leviathan was." But Engvall heroically shields Joseph and his father from the claws, once again proving why she's the goat, and she absorbs the brunt of the damage instead. And upon being launched through numerous trees, Engvall collapses with her back to the trees, blood leaking out of her helmet. And a somewhat bloody Joseph and his father stand prepared for battle in front of her. Engvall's selfless act may have just provided an opportunity for them. The closing tagline to this chapter says, "How does one fight evil so removed from any food chain?" End chapter. I absolutely love the consistency that Kuramori-san is treating his characters with, especially the trend of characters having that dog in them when things get rough. Obviously, first we saw it with Julian when he was fighting the Leviathan beast, or when he was running through the captain and all of his men and brutally bashed the captain's skull in. Now we have Joseph and his nameless father who, after Engvall's heroic self-sacrifice, are able to mount a counterattack opportunity against this eldritch horror creature, and it looks like they're going to take it. We saw in that end panel that it looks like they're prepping for battle, that they're going to take the opportunity presented to them by Engvall and try to make the most of it. Now, in regards to that beast, I genuinely don't even know what to say about it. It's so much more terrifying than the Leviathan or the octopus beast from before that it's genuinely left me speechless. However, there is one thing that I wanted to point out about it, and that's the similarity it has in nature to the Leviathan creature from before. Both of these were very conscious, malicious evils. It's important to note that the Leviathan was fueled by envy, specifically envy of Julian for being the one to receive the octopus creature's blessing. Remember, it felt it was deserving of the title, saying, "You're just a boy from the land, like you don't deserve this. We live in these waters. We've seen this octopus creature before. Why wasn't it us who were blessed, right?" And this creature, this chimera beast, is fueled by greed, seemingly, driven by a sadistic mission to lure in Julian by utilizing his friends and companions as bait. They both very clearly knew what they were doing while they had different motives for doing so, but it's important to note that both of them are driven by two of these 7 deadly sins. And it raises several questions such as, why are these creatures conscious? What do they want with Julian? Why do the forest creatures seemingly have beef with the sea creatures? What purpose do they all serve in the grand scheme of this story? And I think that these questions make these beasts the most interesting concept in Centuria as a whole, simply because of the mystery surrounding them alone. And it might just be something interesting to keep in mind as we learn more about them, since in all 2 of our encounters with them so far, we've seen nothing but hostility and malicious intent all around, as well as 2 applications of the 7 deadly sins, that being greed and envy. I tend to notice a lot of these patterns in the story frequently, and there's definitely a sub-focus on sins here, as we've seen with the embodiment of these horrific beasts, as well as Julian struggling inwardly with his own demons, right? He believes his inability to save Mira was a sin, and that he should have been the one to die in her place. And he feels guilt and regret. He just feels horrible for forcing Diana into a life without a mother, and being the one tasked with raising her on his own. He struggles morally with, can I really raise her the same way that Mira would have been able to? No, obviously not. He's not a mother. Obviously, there's a difference in gender there, but Mira is gone, right? Like, Diana has nobody that she knows in life, and she can't comprehend what's happening because she's too young to do so. She only knows that Julian is there for her from the start, and that he's taken care of her thus far, and that weighs heavily on Julian's heart and soul. Lastly, I just want to give kudos to Kuramori-san once more. Yes, I know I'm glazing a lot, but it's deserved. If you read Centuria, you know that it's deserved, because the sheer level of detail and artistic thought put into the artwork for the demonic chimera in this chapter, it's unreal. The attention to detail and the meticulousness of it. Not only is Kuramori-san just a goated storyteller and mangaka in general, but he's also a goated illustrator. And the design of this beast, it's so fucking uncanny that it leaves even the characters in the story saying, okay, what is this thing? What the hell am I supposed to do about this? Right? It lets us as readers, I feel, relate, since none of us can put a direct label on what these things are or what sort of purpose they serve. So I'm looking forward to seeing them explained in greater detail as we travel down that road. But as always, you guys let me know your thoughts and theories about these creatures down in the comments or about the series as a whole. And as always, God bless you guys. Have a wonderful day. Thanks for tuning in. See ya.